How's it going, everybody? Question came across my desk today in regards to IOSv inside of GNS3. Is it possible? The answer to that question is absolutely is it possible. Now, I've already got IOSXR running inside of GNS3, and I'll show you guys how I was able to manage that. It's actually very, very simple. What I can do for you on the setup is actually I already did a video on setting up IOSXR inside of GNS3 for the service provider track. Now, the question I received today was, how can you run IOSv inside of GNS3 to replace the CSR 1000V? The answer is yes. How do you go about doing that? Very simple. The first thing you absolutely have to have before you do anything is actually go out and find the IOSv Vmdk, the virtual machine disk. You have to have that. The one that you can download directly from Cisco is the IOSXR Vmdk. You download that, follow the video I shot on using the service provider or GNS3 with IOSXR inside of GNS3, and go about that. For IOSv layer 2, you'll have to source those on your own. Google it maybe. I do have them. I cannot share them with you though. So what you would do here in order to get this to work is inside GNS3. Now this is GNS3 3.1.11. So I think it's pretty new. All you do is you click on Edit and you go to Preferences, and here in the QEMU VMs. Now don't get excited. NXOS doesn't boot. ASA 9.4 it just hangs. I think I just need to add more memory to each one of those, and so I want to show you guys how to set this up. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete all of these guys. Delete, 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 and delete. So in order to create a new one, I'm going to go click on New. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to drop down to IOSv. I'm going to click Next, and if the name is IOSv, that's fine. I usually would just call it, IOSv. That's fine. You can rename them as you see fit. And from there, all I would do is click Next. And the first thing you do here, the QEMU or QEMU, however you want to say that. In this binary here, you want to come down here and click on the 32-bit and the version 2.4. And 384 megs of RAM is typically how much you're going to need for it. Click Next, and then you need to point GNS3 to the Vmdk file. I happen to have that already, so I'm actually going to slide this off screen so you guys can't see what's going on. Sorry guys, there's just some things I can't show you. And I'm going to go ahead and join the layer 3 Vmdk file. I'm going to click on OK, and I'm going to click on Finish. So I know I hid that part from you, but you guys can see where it's at. And then all you have to go here is click on Apply and click OK. Then all you have to do now is click in here, and here's IOSv or VIOS, however you want to look at it. So there we go. I'm going to add a couple of these guys out here, and I'm going to do this. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to drag these guys over. I'm going to do a big swath in here and bump the network up so it's already got 8 ports. Cool. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this guy out, and I'm going to add the layer 2 IOS, because I know you guys are going to be looking for route switch stuff. Edit, Preferences, QEMU VMs, New, come down here, layer 2, click Next. That's fine, Next, and then come down here and choose 32-bit, 384 megs of RAM is fine. Next, navigate to where the file is, and that is really it. Click Open, Finish, and click Apply. Click OK, and then move these guys up, move these guys over, come over here, and you have this. So you have that. Now this is exactly what was asked for, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to right click or click on this guy and this guy, right click and go Configure, and network 8 ports each. Cool. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to connect this guy to here, this guy to here. Now you have to add the links before you power them on. They don't support hot add yet. And do that, and then between these two, and last but certainly not least, there we go. So now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to right click here, and I'm going to go start. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go console. It does take a couple of minutes for this stuff to come up. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave this about mid-screen, and then I'm going to come back over here and right click here and go start, and right click and go console. I'm going to leave these guys open and here. So you'll see these guys, it does take a couple of minutes, so be patient and let them boot up. I'm going to pause the video until they start to boot. They do work, and I will test them out here momentarily. Alright, so we have both of these guys up. It did take took a couple of minutes. So once you boot them up, go grab a cup of coffee, come back a couple minutes later, they are up. I'm going to go ahead and enter here on no on this guy, and I'm going to enable here and log into that. I'm going to minimize these guys, bring up the port so it's Ethernet 0 to Ethernet 0. So I'm going to bring them both back up, and I'm going to say, I'm going to go to show IP interface brief. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to say config T interface VLAN 1 IP address of 10.1.1.1/24, and I'm going to say interface gig 0/0 switch port access VLAN 1 switch port mode and access. Do show VLAN brief. There we see, they're all in VLAN 1, so it doesn't make much of a difference. But I'm going to do a do show IP interface brief. Interface VLAN 1, no shut. I'm going to bring that port up. It will take a moment to do, but once it comes up, we'll be in good shape. Do show IP interface brief. It's up. Now this code is up and running, so now we're going to be able to go enable, show IP interface brief. We're going to say config T interface gig 0/0. IP address is 10.1.1.2/24. No shut. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and wait for that guy to come up. Do show IP interface brief. I'm going to go ahead and do ping 10.1.1.1. I'm going to let it ARP. And there it goes. I have a working ping. Now what I can also do here is I can come over here to IOSv L2 is not up at the moment, but I could do this. I could type in interface range gigabit 0/2 through 3, and I could turn that into a trunk port. So our switch port trunk cap.1q, the commands are supported. We could do you can come in here and create a port channel. I mean, you can do pretty much anything you want. So I hope that answers your question. It is supported. You can also bring IOSXR into this if you were to do so.